Welcome to the Sector Spin with Terry. In this video series, I share with you what I'm watching each week in various sector industry subgroups. This week, as we see the consumer discretionary sector begin to show improving trends and a strong northeasterly heading in our weekly RRG, let's take a look into which particular industry subgroups are driving that strengthening condition. Then we'll explore some individual stocks in those groups that have the potential to become our newest leaders in this sector. Now first, this here is the weekly relative rotation graph of the 11 sectors that make up the S&P 500, showing their current performance versus the S&P benchmark. Rising up out of the lagging quadrant into the improving quadrant is the consumer discretionary sector here. The northeasterly heading tells me that this sector is seeing both rising momentum and rising relative strength simultaneously. Now, although this sector has been recently underperforming the benchmark S&P, the velocity here and the heading of this vector here tells me that this sector is pushing now towards an outperforming condition, which could possibly return to the leading quadrant over the next several weeks and months. The XLY collectively is composed of about 20 different individual industry subgroups shown here in this table on the left and on this weekly RRG on the right. Now immediately my attention shifts to those industry groups with these blue vectors. This means that an improving weekly trend is now in place in these indexes. Now here's a filtered list to show just those 6 groups with the improving trends. Now, even though all 6 show improving trends, there's another distinction to look for. These groups down in the lower part have recently formed northerly hooks, indicating renewed investor momentum is coming back into these groups. These with these northeasterly headings have already completed a hook reversal and are clearly demonstrating both rising momentum and relative strength. Now let's take a look at the price trend of a couple of these industry groups. First, let's look at the DJUSBE. This is the Business Training and Employment Agencies Index. This group has been in a consolidation period since early May, but now looks to have completed the corrective move, and a new solid uptrend is apparent now in place. Indeed, this group has already pushed to new all-time highs and is showing just a little bit of a smaller degree corrective move right now. Now I've drawn a larger parallel trend to show the uptrend that has been in place essentially since back end of October, early November 2020. Now current price action has brought this segment back into the middle of this trend channel. Now let's look at let's pick this one here. Let's look at the Specialized Consumer Services Index. Now you can see here the long-term trend pattern is a bit different. It looks like this group possibly began its consolidation in early February and completed it somewhere here late May or early June. Now fairly recently it has reestablished an uptrend, and it has also set a new all-time high. I've also got this longer term trend channel here. The group itself is still rising, but note that it is much closer to the lower range of the uptrend channel support line, which actually gives it a better risk-reward condition, as you can use not only these moving averages for stop loss, but also this lower trend line here. Now with that Business Training and Employment Index, because it was already trending close to the middle of its range, you really have a little bit more risk profile, or risk is greater there. Okay, so I promised to look at some individual stocks. First, here in the business training and employment agency group, there are 15 stocks in this particular index. Now, using the same logic, look here at TriNet Group. It is showing us an improving weekly trend, a northeasterly heading as it rises out of the lagging quadrant. This stock is currently trading up 4.2% this week. Here's the price trend, and it looks about to set another new all-time high in a very strong uptrend performance. I'll go ahead and put some of my support and resistance zones in here. Definitely, if we take a look at the longer term trend here, let's go ahead and say we'll put our longer term uptrend channel here, and then we will marry with that the parallel line to that. And I usually like to put these in green for support and red for resistance, and that gives me the trend channel. Now I can also do a copy tool, and then let's pick this. Let's move this over. Let's kind of make that and look like a middle channel there, and just show you, demonstrate a few little things we can do here in Optima. So here's the mid channel on this particular stock, and you can see TriNet is still in the lower part of the longer term uptrend channel. I think there's a lot more opportunity to go. Near term, I would be careful, as we are very it has been moving aggressively higher in recent days here. A little consolidation may give you an opportunity to buy back in. Most recently, I see the 20 crossing above the 50-day, and I've seen the 50-day moving average actually start to move north. So if you get into this one very early, there may be a good further extension in this particular stock. All right, now let's take a look at the Specialized Consumer Services Index. Now, this is a larger group. It's got 37 stocks in this index. Immediately, I can spot Rollins with an improving weekly trend and a northeasterly heading. It's currently in the improving quadrant. If I screen this list down to just those with a northeasterly heading, we get a smaller group that's a bit more manageable list to evaluate. Let's go ahead and take a look at Rollins and open that price chart up here. And you can see that Rollins appears to have completed a corrective move that began sometime back in November with an all-time high, and it pushed down to about 32 here in March, and then has since bounced back up above. So looks like we have a new uptrend in play here with Rollins. The downtrend channel from these highs has been penetrated to the upside. We do have to reach back up to the all-time high at 42, so there is more room for Rollins to run here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and give you a perspective of the longer term price performance of this chart. I would not want to be tempted to put the parallel trend channel up here, but you know what? Technically, that's kind of what you have to do. I'm going to copy that and stick that there and tell you that in this particular case, if we continue to see a resumption of the performance that happened from March through November of 2020, if we get a repeat of that, there is a lot more room in an uptrend channel for Rollins to run. Okay, so I encourage each of you to take the results of my screening efforts here and further evaluate these 9 stocks and those in the business training and employment group if you wish. Find those that meet your own trading and or investing criteria. And if you followed any of my prior recommendations, I'd love to hear from you in the comments section below. Please check us out at tradinganalysis.com for more great market analysis and a great member community where you can get more trade ideas and share yours with our active community. Thank you for your time and attention, and have a great weekend.